Light tank. Small, fast, and built for speed over armor, the light tank was one of the earliest tank designs to appear on the battlefield. It trades heavy protection for mobility, allowing it to scout enemy positions, chase retreating forces, or strike quickly before pulling back. Early examples like the British Whippet from World War I were designed to exploit gaps in enemy lines rather than hold ground. Today, light tanks are used by airborne and amphibious forces because they can be transported by aircraft or landing craft in ways that heavier vehicles simply cannot. Medium tank. Sitting between extremes, the medium tank became the backbone of most armored forces throughout the 20th century. It carried enough armor to survive direct combat, while staying mobile enough to maneuver across varied terrain. The Soviet T-34 and the American M4 Sherman are probably the most recognized examples, both produced in massive numbers during World War II. The medium tank concept shaped how modern armies think about balance. Not the fastest, not the most powerful, but capable enough to do almost everything reasonably well. Heavy tank. Built for raw power and survivability, the heavy tank was designed to punch through fortified defenses and absorb enormous punishment. These machines were slow and difficult to maintain, but on the right battlefield they were nearly unstoppable. Germany's Tiger I caused serious problems for Allied forces in World War II largely because standard anti-tank weapons struggled to penetrate it at normal combat ranges. The category eventually faded because advances in ammunition and lighter tank designs made the weight penalty harder to justify. Main battle tank. The main battle tank, or MBT, is what most modern armies rely on today. It absorbs the old roles of medium and heavy tanks into one design, combining strong firepower, decent protection, and acceptable mobility. Vehicles like the American M1 Abrams, German Leopard 2, and Russian T-90 fall into this category. The key development that made this possible was composite armor and better engines, which allowed designers to achieve heavy tank protection without completely sacrificing speed. Nearly every major military in the world fields some version of an MBT. Infantry fighting vehicle. Not a tank in the traditional sense, but closely related, the infantry fighting vehicle, or IFV, was developed to keep infantry protected and mobile alongside tanks during combined arms operations. It carries a small crew, a squad of soldiers, and usually a medium-caliber cannon or missile system. The Soviet BMP series and the American Bradley are well-known examples. Unlike older armored personnel carriers that simply move troops from point A to point B, the IFV allows soldiers to fight from inside the vehicle or dismount quickly when needed. Self-Propelled Gun. A self-propelled gun mounts heavy artillery onto a tracked or wheeled chassis, giving it the ability to move independently across the battlefield without being towed. It provides indirect fire support from a distance, targeting enemy positions that frontline tanks cannot directly engage. The German Hummel from World War II and the modern American Paladin are examples separated by decades but built around the same idea. The advantage over towed artillery is simple. It can reposition much faster, making it harder for the enemy to locate and return fire. Tank Destroyer. Designed specifically to kill other tanks, the Tank Destroyer trades a rotating turret for a fixed or limited gun mount, which allowed engineers to fit a larger, more powerful weapon onto a smaller chassis. During World War II, nations on both sides invested heavily in this category because dedicated anti-tank platforms were cheaper and faster to produce than full tanks. Germany's Jagdpanther and the American M10 Wolverine are notable examples. The concept became less prominent after the war as main battle tanks improved, but the role never disappeared entirely. It simply shifted toward missile-based systems. Amphibious Tank. An amphibious tank is built to cross rivers, lakes, or coastal waters under its own power, giving ground forces the ability to attack from unexpected directions. Most use their tracks to propel themselves through water at low speed while keeping the crew sealed inside. The Soviet PT-76 was one of the most widely used examples, appearing in conflicts across Asia and the Middle East. Marine forces in particular rely on amphibious armor because assaulting a defended coastline without armored support puts infantry at a severe disadvantage. Super Heavy Tank. The Super Heavy Tank represents the outer edge of what engineers have attempted to build on tracks. These were massive, heavily armored machines that pushed the limits of available technology and often collapsed under the weight of their own ambition. Germany's Maus, which weighed over 180 tons, was the heaviest tank ever completed, though it never saw combat. Most super-heavy designs from World War II suffered from the same problems. Engines that couldn't reliably move that much weight, bridges that couldn't support them, and fuel consumption that made sustained operation nearly impossible. The category exists more as a historical curiosity than a practical military solution.